So, does anyone care to touch on this further?
My name is Jerry. I left MAGA, and I'm here to spill all the tea. This is episode 32, and I'm going to be talking about a certain Eric Schmitt. You'll also see the name Eric Greitens is involved here, and I did an episode on him. It'll be episode 28. But in this particular article, dated September 29th, 2021. So this would have been some of the stuff that really helped me start questioning things because there was anti-China narratives going on, but then there's this. China becomes the first flashpoint of Missouri GOP Senate primary. Eric Schmitt and Eric Greitens take aim at each other's anti-China bona fides as they jockey for position in the 2022 race. A bipartisan group of Missouri officials hopscotched the state in the summer of 2011, touting a plan to create a $360 million tax credit program to turn St. Louis into a hub for freight flown between China and the Midwest. Among the most vocal champions of this so called China Hub bill was Eric Schmitt, then a first time state senator from St. Louis County. St. Louis and Missouri must not miss this opportunity, he said at the time, but it was not to be. The deal, which offset the cost of China Hub incentives by reducing or eliminating other tax credits, stalled during a special legislative session over disagreements between the House and Senate. The bill was shelved, and the Missouri political world moved on for a while at least. A decade later, China Hub became the first public skirmish of the 2022 GOP Senate primary. Now, a leading candidate for the seat of retiring U.S. Senator Roy Blunt, Schmitt faces a much different GOP base than in 2011, largely, but not exclusively, thanks to Donald Trump. Former Governor Eric Greitens, one of the five GOP candidates currently running for Senate, pilloried Schmitt's record to the right wing conspiracy website Breitbart on China Hub, but also on Schmidt's support for the 2013 legislation that made it possible for a Chinese food processing conglomerate to own Missouri farmland. In response, Schmidt's campaign hammered Greitens for a trip to China as governor, where he sat for a 15-minute interview with a television station controlled by the propaganda department of the Chinese Communist Party. The back and forth is likely only a preview of things to come as candidates jockey for position in Trump's Republican Party, where an unflinchingly hard line against China is gospel. The whole China narrative kind of changed and amplified in recent years since James Harris, a lifetime Missouri political consultant, who is not working for any active Senate campaigns, but is advising U.S. Rep. Jason Smith, a potential candidate. Quote, if you talk to your average Missouri Republican voter now, this is back in 2021, Harris said, they likely believe that at some point the United States will be in conflict, whether it's a trade war or potentially a military conflict with China. Well, that turned out to be true, right? Uh, that Schmidt and Greitens have a history of welcoming Chinese business and investment to the state should not be surprising as, quote, the GOP has traditionally tried to portray itself as pro business party, end quote. Said Josh Halsler, assistant professor of political science at Westminster College in Fulton. However, during Trump's presidency, his administration initiated a trade war with China and sought to pile much of the blame for COVID 19 onto China, Holzer said, continuing Trump's continued influence within the Republican Party means that big anti-China is now more important than being pro-business. It goes on from there. But I basically wanted to address this skirmish. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't Holly, it's Greitens. Uh, Greitens did end up losing, obviously, to Eric Schmitt. What was crazy was that Eric, um, I'm sorry, Josh Hawley was the Missouri Attorney General before Eric Schmitt, and I'll have to do a video on the succession of Missouri politics. So yeah, fact finders did Eric Schmitt vote twice to sell Missouri farmland to foreigners, and the short answer is it's true. Eric Schmitt voted twice to approve the sale of farmland to foreign businesses. We'll rate this true, but we want to point out that he did not explicitly vote to sell farmland to Chinese businesses. He just voted to allow it to happen. All right, so I wanted to go over here and take a look at Eric Schmidt's information on Open Secrets, partially because I'm setting up to edit another video that it's old work that I did, but I need to edit it a little bit for content. There's some anyway. I'll get there. It'll be my next video up. But Eric Schmitt and Josh Hawley both have a certain character in common, and we're gonna get there. So in 2019 to 2024, uh, Eric Schmitt raised almost 8.5 million. So there's about $500,000 left over there. Some of his biggest contract or contributors: Senate Conservatives Fund, Herzog Contracting, Hirsch Blackwell, Enterprise Mobility, and National Republican Senate. There's there that's just top contributors. Let's see what I line up over here. Oh yeah, Senate Conservatives Fund, Herzog Contracting. These are the actual top uh, yeah contributors. Herzog Contracting. Okay, so yeah, I extended the list. Burns and McDowell, Charles and Potomac Capital. So you got a legal firm, an investment firm, Crossland Construction, another building company, Hunter Engineering, Diamond Pet Foods. They're a big thing locally. Olin Corporation, um, Broadview Capital, Northpac, Herzog, a lot more. But yeah, links will all be in the description. But what was wild was a while back I was doing the follow the money thing. And let's see, top contributors 2022 or 2023, 2024. We got Prime Inc., which is a trucking company out of Springfield, Missouri, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Herzog's in there. PNC Financial, T-Mobile USA, Verizon. His fifth and seventh largest contributors are cell phone companies. Number nine is Microsoft. And you're going to see here in a bit, you're going to see actually in the next video, you're going to see here in a bit why all this is. All right. Specifically, Microsoft and some other things. Yeah, primarily Microsoft. Pretty much, anyway, I'm rambling now because I'm delaying introducing you to Rex Sinkfield, who is going to be the subject of my next video. Like I said, what I'm going to be presenting is some old work. I'm not redoing the whole thing, but I did it as a live stream, so I only had to record it the once. And yeah, there's just I got to clip some stuff off each end of it. But Rex Sinkfield drops big donations into GOP governor and attorney general primaries. This is June 17th, 2024. With $1 million contributed last week, Sinkfield has given $1 out of every $3 raised for the race by the PAC backing Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, our current governor. Missouri's most prolific political donor dropped another $1 million into the campaign of his preferred candidate for governor last week, bringing the total that he's spent during the 2024 election cycle to almost $3 million. Retired investor Rex Sinkfield has given more than $45 million in contributions since he became a significant donor around 2006, mostly to Republicans, though not exclusively. And my research shows that that's true. U.S. donations, or his donations last week included $1 million to American Dream PAC, which supports the gubernatorial candidate of or campaign of Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, and $250,000 to Liberty and Justice PAC, which supports Attorney General Andrew Bailey. You may recognize Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey's name because he got tapped on the shoulder by Trump to go babysit Dan Bongino and is probably going to take Kash Patel's position. Andrew Bailey's a real piece of work. He got a hold of some information on transgender care through Washington University and it leaked. I'm pretty sure he did it. Uh, I had a cousin who had a friend that was harassed by it, by the fallout. Anyway, continuing, Sinkfield has donated roughly a third of all money received by American Dream PAC since the beginning of 2023. American Dream PAC, which can raise money alongside Kehoe, but not spend its funds independently of its official campaign, is already the richest in the race for governor. It reported 4.5 million on hand on March 31st, more than double the amount in the PAC backing Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Their family has a legacy in Missouri politics, and four times the funding available for Bill PAC, which is supporting State Senator Bill Engel or Eigel. The Singfield checks, uh, one of $250,000 and other for $750,000, were reported Thursday to the Missouri Ethics Commission. Other large donations have given Keogh's PAC $182,674 since the last full report was filed. I was thinking this was the article that also had Eric Schmitt and uh, Josh Hawley in it. That must be an older article, but you can see how this guy is spending a lot of money. All right, so it's me in post, and I actually went and pulled the correct article. So let's take a look at the one that I was meaning to pull. This is from the Missouri Independent, as you can see, January 5th, 2022. After a quiet year, Rex Sinkfield donations start flowing in Missouri again. Key points I want to point out in this article are, let's see, Rex Sinkfield, a retired investor from St. Louis, didn't make a single political contribution in 2021 until December 11th. Since then, he's donated $675,000. Most of that comes from two $250,000 checks, one to the Political Action Committee supporting State Treasurer Scott Fitzpatrick's campaign for state auditor, and the other PAC supporting Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, who has said he is running for governor in 2024. During the 2020 election cycle, Sinkfield donated $4.6 million to various candidates and committees. The biggest recipients were PACs supporting Governor Mike Parson and Attorney General Eric Schmitt, both of which received $1 million from Sinkfield. Raised in a Missouri area orphanage, Sinkfield made his fortune after the money, founding the money management firm Dimensional Fund Advisors. He retired in 2005 and returned to Missouri. Since then, he has donated millions through the Sinkfield Charitable Foundation to various causes, including a music composition program at the University of Missouri in Columbia and the St. Vincent Home for Children, the orphanage where Sinkfield grew up. Anyway, he's a huge chess enthusiast, and you can look more there. Oh, let's see. In 2016, he bankrolled a slate of candidates in GOP statewide primaries, spending nearly $11 million supporting candidates for governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, attorney general, and treasurer. This guy owns our government. This guy basically owns Jeff City. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to throw in there. So, that's exactly why I'm going to re-edit and repost for the next segment in this series. Who is Rex Sinkfield? Something I did about 3 years ago. If you've held on to the end of this video, which has been relatively short, apparently, it's shorter than I expected, I appreciate that. If you've enjoyed the information, please like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. And take care of yourself so you can take care of each other. Get plenty of rest, I hope, and try to get plenty of